my screen right now is the project outline for any project write-up, irrespective of your level, whether you are an undergraduate, postgraduate, pre-degree, or whatever it is. As long as you are writing a project, this outline actually shows the various sections that are required in your project write-up. Now let's begin to look at it. The first part, the first sections that you're going to see or that you need to have in your project is the preliminary pages, and the preliminary pages comes at the beginning of your project. And under your preliminary pages, you're looking at the title pages. The title page, you're looking at the certification, you're looking at the dedication, acknowledgement, abstract, table of contents, list of figures, and table. These are one page each, one page each, except for table of contents, which might exceed one depending on how voluminous your project is. And then apart from this preliminary section, however, this preliminary section can come, you don't have to write them at the beginning of your project. You can write them at the end of your project. Once you complete the main sections of your project, then you can come back to these preliminary pages. Now, talking about the main sections of the project, there are 5 main chapters. The main section comprises of 5 main chapters. Chapter 1 is the introduction, chapter 2 is literature review, chapter 3 is methodology, chapter 4 is result and discussion, and chapter 5 is conclusion and recommendation. And beyond chapter 5, we also have references and appendices. Your references, this is where you compile all the sources that you used, all the other people's work that you cited in your project. Whether is it online? Did you get some fact or some information from a textbook? It could be from a journal, it could be from an online platform. This is where you actually put them together. And of course the appendices here, of course, did you use a survey? Did you use one instrument or the other? This is where you showcase those instruments that you actually use. And now let's briefly talk about the main chapters of your project, which are the 5 chapters that I just mentioned. And you can see that in chapter 1 we have subsections in chapter 1, which will be like subheading within that chapter 1 that you're going to be writing. We have that's why we have the first one, which is the first subheading, or the first subsections, which is 1.1. So you have 1.1, which is the introduction. You have 1.2, background of the study. You have 1.3, which is the statement of the problem. 1.4 is objective of the study. 1.5 is research questions / hypothesis, and 1.6 is the scope and limitations of the study. 1.7 is significance of the studies. 1.8 is the definition of terms. And once you finish 1.8, that rounds up chapter 1 of your project. Then you can move on to chapter 2, which is the literature review. Under the literature review, just like you have in chapter 1, you also have subsections in chapter 2. And then you have chapter 2. The 2.1 is introduction. This is under literature review. 2.1 is introduction. 2.2 is theoretical framework. 2.3 is overview of research topic. 2.4 is previous studies, and 2.5 is current trends and advances. All right, then 2.6 is factors influencing the study topic. 2.7 is gaps in knowledge, and 2.8 is summary of literature review. Chapter 3, which is talking about the methodology, just like you have in other chapter, you also have subsections. We have 3.1 to be research design, 3.2 to be materials and equipment, 3.3 to be population and sampling, 3.4 to be experimental procedures, 3.5 to be data collection, 3.6 is data analysis, and 3.7 is validity and reliability of the study. And you also have chapter 4, results and discussion, which is the chapter 4. And chapter 4, you have 4.1, which is your result, and then you have 4.2 discussion, and of course the concluding part, which is the chapter 5. And chapter 5 explains the conclusions and the recommendations. And so these are the 5 chapters. Of course, these are the 5 chapters that should be in your project write-up. However, these sections actually varies from department to department, from school to school, so you probably need to check what format actually works within your school. However, so these are the main sections that we need to talk about under this series. This is a series of videos, and of course we're going to be dealing with different aspects, so I will advise you also check out the other part to get more details on each of these parts, to check my other videos on each of these parts. So I hope this really helps. If you want anything, or you want any kind of information regarding your project write-up, please feel free to drop a message, and God bless you as